Quarter Scale Gravedigger Part 22. I've remounted the front of the engine so it's a little lower. Instead of on this tube here, it's now on the lower tube, so that brings it down about 3/4 of an inch. And now the exhaust ports are more parallel to the chassis, so that makes it look a little better. That also lowers the water inlet, puts it a little lower than the water tanks, so that helps with the water flow. And I did some plumbing work here. I bent some aluminum tubing to make that bend there more tight and not have to use so much rubber hose. Also did it on the front of the truck, so that looks a little cleaner. And I've moved the center transfer case further forward to make room for the coupling there from the drive. Now, the transmission looks like a transmission, but it doesn't have any gearing in it. It has a centrifugal clutch in it with the shaft coming all the way through, and then that drives the transfer case. So currently it's a single speed. Now Mr. Connolly is working on a transmission with forward, neutral, and reverse, so that'll be nice to have neutral and reverse in a vehicle this big. I have the exhaust mounted like this because that's the only way I could get it to fit in the chassis, so I have to make a whole new exhaust system. And here's a flange, an extra flange that Mr. Connolly sent along with the engine. So now I have to bend 1/2-inch stainless tubes and bring it out and down. Maybe have it come forward. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but that'll be interesting. So I'll have to get Mr. Dan to do some more welding for me. Something I didn't mention last time was the engine runs on regular gas. Regular pump gas, 87 octane, less than $4 a gallon. Something else that I need to do next is to make a mount for a device to control the throttle. I've got brake, I've got steering, but I want to put a bar going across here that it should have to be like scale, and then I'll have a lever connecting to the throttle here to grab that. And I've moved the electrical system onto this side. Got the battery mounted there, ignition switch, starter button here, going to the starter motor there. So again, it's a temporary thing, temporary setup. So the next thing I want to do is to do another test drive, but this time without an electrical drill. This time I'm going to test it with the Connolly Stinger 609. Contact. Okay, time to see what this thing can do on the ground. Well, that didn't turn out so good. So now, I have to look at the gearing, look at the transfer case, talk to my engine builder, see what his thoughts are. Oh, that's a heavy thing. To be continued.